What is up, guys? Strike here. We're going to get into something different today, which is how to actually close out your games and win when you have a league. Very often I hear people talk about like, well, I'm super fed, but my team isn't good, so like I can't win the game. There's nothing I could have done. Blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, the best way to think about League is it is a game that is solely objective based on one premise and one objective, and that's the enemy nexus. So anything you're doing to move away from the enemy nexus and towards yours usually is going to result in some sort of passive or bad thing happening in the long term. So the reason why I say that is because quite often what people say is they talk about like, I am losing, how do I stage a comeback? Comebacks are inherently really difficult because you're already playing the game in a less than ideal state, right? Where you're not the aggressor. So the goal when you have a lead is to be the aggressor. And we're going to talk about how to do that in a very controlled sense today, watching this VOD. Now, specifically what I want to say at the offset is this was a game where I was playing with friends in norms. So I was on my main account, but the person I'm versing is obviously not a Masters top laner, Diamond top laner even. That's okay. What we're watching this for is specifically to talk about how to be as aggressive as possible and take that aggression and translate it into a win. Every game, you're not going to have a lead this big. So let's talk about min-maxing level 1. The reason I'm doing this level 1 and I sat here and waited is because I needed to do it when this wave was coming up. So that way he had to make a choice between laning with half health or spending his TP, right? So these are both wins for me, regardless of what happens. But if I do this early and I'm not controlled with my aggression early, then obviously I don't get a winning situation because he can back and just come back. Now, obviously, now that we have a summoner advantage, the only thing that would be worse for this guy at this point would be to die without TP, right? So we're going to be really aggressive. We're going to push up on him. We're not going to let him towards the wave. We're going to make sure that he's playing at a health deficit. We're going to keep him off the wave in terms of XP. We're going to be absolutely brutal with this guy, right? And now what we do is we expend our summoner because we know he doesn't have TP. We have a triple stacked wave here. We're going to kill this guy, and then we're going to crash this wave as fast as we can. And we have a level lead of 2, and we have a CS lead of 9. Now, other people are CSing better in this game, sure, because they're not playing as aggressively. But aggression is what gets you the game won, right? So we're going to fast forward here. There's a lot of micro things that are going on here. I do feel bad for kind of playing my main as a warm-up game into this Nasus, right? It is not a big fan of smurfing in that way. But as you watch this, right, because I have a lead, you can see my movement is just here and here and here and here. I'm giving him no access to come up while my minions apply forward pressure. Right? So while my minions are applying forward pressure and I have vision control and I know in no way, shape, or form Viego can get to me, all I want to do is this. But my minions are doing this for me. So what I do as a result to apply the most pressure in this game is I support my minions from this point with the enemy champion. My minions will deal with his minions. I can deal with the enemy champion. If I hit 6 and I'm 20 CS down on all the other laners, but I'm 2 levels up on this Nasus, I don't really care about the 20 CS gap because I can get that farm back later, and the XP lead that I've generated and the kills that I've generated are going to be way more beneficial in the long term, right? So we made him leave out of lane, so now we know he has no TP, so we're crashing this and we're resetting immediately, right? Our goal in this game is to keep an accelerated item lead over our opponent in order to take the laning phase and make it as brutal as possible, right? Because once I make it as brutal as possible and he can't play the game, right? We kill him under tower with a 2-level lead, exactly like what we just discussed, right, a second ago. So I can go back here, you can see he's 4, I'm 6. I got the 2-level lead I want. Now I might be down in CS for some of these people, luckily I'm not, but well, I'm not extremely down in CS, but I don't care, right? I'm willing to trade these extra minions for this kind of pressure. Now I get a plate, and I proxy the wave, set up more tempo, I get off the map, right? This is a very rinse and repeat situation for everything that's going on in this game. Now, what we can look at here is obviously this game is 4-4, 13.6, 13.6. We have 3 grubs, right? We're slightly ahead. But what's important here is I have almost doubled my opposing laner's stats. Now, you could look at this and say, well, that's not fair. You're a diamond player. Everything I'm doing in this game, you could be doing in your lane, okay? If this is a gold player and you're in gold right now, but you get your skills up to a diamond level, guess what? You're going to fly out of gold because you're going to abuse other laners like this, right? This game has been made completely unplayable for this guy because I know that I can just keep abusing my aggression. You can see this. I'm just walking him off the wave. As soon as I know minions are going to die, as soon as things are getting low enough for him to last hit, I just keep walking him off. I just keep zoning him off of XP and CS, making the game borderline unplayable for this guy, right? Now, he could have maxed E and tried to poke me out and stuff, and maybe a better Nasus would have. But even if he does that, he's still eventually going to go, he's not going to get minions by trying to poke me with E if I play off the wave, right? So, like, if I adapt my gameplay, all of this is still possible, right? So, the reason I say that is because there's a lot of people maybe watching this video right now who are saying, well, you know, I can't do this in my games because the people I play against, they're just better. They wouldn't fall for this stuff. Like, this Nasus is just bad, yada, 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 whatever, right? But the thing is like, that is true, potentially, but it's also true that League of Legends is a 1-to-1 game, okay? When I'm playing Urgot and you're playing Urgot, or I'm playing Riven and you're playing Riven, it's the same champion. Everything functions exactly the same. So the only differentiator in your game is you, okay? So you have to get better in order to get extensive leads like this. Now, the next question that comes in is going to be, what do you do when you get an extensive lead? Well, I'm invading, I'm proxying, right? I'm pushing up even further into the enemy map to give my team a tempo advantage for objectives, to give my team a tempo advantage for invades and everything else, right? I'm getting deep vision down. And then I'm also forcing Viego to try and come up to respond, but he's not strong enough to deal with me, so he backs off and ends up wasting time. I'm now taking my presence in this map at 10 minutes and I'm exploding it everywhere, right? We're killing the enemy jungler. We're securing the top lane Grugs. All of this is a result of my proxy. If I don't move up here, if I don't put down this ward to space, to pretty much sneak out to know that Viego's not on this, so that means that he's up here, or he's in here because I just walked through and I'm wrapping around, my Kha'Zix doesn't come and invade here, right? And even if my Kha'Zix doesn't come and invade here, I can still kill Viego, and then my Kha'Zix has tempo advantage, priority on grubs, has the option to invade. They can do whatever they want, or they can do nothing. I still got a kill out of it, right? But the point is that what we're doing is we're playing aggressive because we have a lead, and it's only 10 minutes, right? So we're going to keep moving here, and this is where I want to be very, very clear about what's going on in this game. I can hit tab and say, okay, the enemy wave is here. The enemy wave is here. I don't have TP. It's going to take me 30 seconds to get down river over here, right? If 2 waves and 1 plate is what I'm willing to give, that equals around 15 minions, give or take, right? Or maybe 12, right? Let's say 15 to 12 or whatever. Who cares? And 1 plate equals 125 gold, right? I'm willing to give this guy, let's say 500 gold just to round up. Maybe he gets a level, let's say 600 gold, right? I'm willing to give this Nasus 600 gold. Why am I willing to do this? Well, for 2 reasons. 1, I know that A, he's almost 2,500 gold behind me, so I don't care if this guy gets 500 gold in the level. His game is over. However, I do see that the other side of the map is not doing as well as me, and I'm strong enough at this point, sitting on 2 completed items, that I can influence this game state heavily right now, right? I'm a level ahead. I'm 3 levels up on the bot lane, I'm a level up on the mid lane, and I'm 2 levels up in the jungle, plus I'm an item ahead, right? So what I can now do is I can say, okay, I'm going to use this priority that I've created to do an extremely aggressive thing because I know my TP is coming up soon. And I'm just going to roam down. And a lot of people might be saying, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, this is insane, right? Like, you can't just do that. But the thing is, I absolutely can. And because I know that my team is going to fight, and I don't know that just because I'm in comms, because no one called a fight when I was playing this game with my friends, right? I was top lane. I saw that they wanted to contest second Drake. I knew that there was no vision here. I knew that the enemy, like, bot lane was going to push into the jungle because they were confident that they were stronger, right? So now that they've pushed into the jungle and I've seen them waste their key abilities, all I'm going to do is I'm going to loop around here because Nasus doesn't have TP anyways. So when I make this move into the bottom lane, I'm guaranteeing a 5v4, which is overall positive for my team. So I'm trading 400 gold for the gamble that maybe we kill 4 people and get 1,200 gold, and Dragon, which say 250 gold worth of stats for everybody on my team. So let's say 1,000 gold overall. So I'm trading 400 gold for a 2,200 gold play. But the reason why I can do this is because I established a massive lead. So when you guys are talking about, like, why can't I carry games when I'm fed, you need to start identifying where these gambles are. And it's based off of the micro-analysis of sums, wave state, and what's going to happen next in the game, right? By identifying all of these things, then you can make moves like this. So now, right, exactly what I said starts to happen. We end up getting, let's see, a bunch of sums. We get 4 kills out of here, maybe. Nope, we get 3 kills. We get Dragon. I can reset immediately. And once I reset immediately and buy, I can TP top lane. And what happened? This guy got 2 waves. He got 1 plate. And that's it, right? So we traded 900 gold, so we ended up going about 1,900 gold for 400 gold, and he caught up 1 level. Who cares, right? Because when I went bot lane, guess what? I got another 600 gold. So now I'm ahead of him still, and despite the fact that I left them alone, he's still not in this game. That play balloons the gold lead from 2K to almost immediately 3.3. Right? That's a huge swing in gold in just a minute, right? Now, the next thing we're going to talk about how to win your games. And this is going to be more important for, obviously, someone who's playing in a solo lane like top or something, is you need to be willing to be aggressive. Do you see how hard I'm playing up on this guy to try and push him off waves, try and press him into tower? And a lot of people might look at this and be like, that's too aggressive. This guy's out of his mind. Yeah, I am playing a little out of my mind. But the reason why is because I know that my ult's coming up. I want this guy to try and fight me, because if I ult him, he's dead right now. But more importantly, if I ult him and he's dead right now and I get Viego to come in and try and gank me, I can 100% kill this Viego as well. Right? So part of this is limit testing. Part of this is knowing your champion. That's why it's important to one trick specifically. But now let's look at what we should do next. Well, what we should do next is, this lane is pushing out, right? I am not ever going to sit here and wait for this wave, because I want 2 or 3 people to fight me here to give my team enough to pressure the rest of the map. And I want to push my wave back this way, right? Because at the end of the day, everything I'm doing is optimally to get to the enemy nexus, which sounds really, really simple to say out loud. Like, obviously, you want to get to the enemy nexus, you want to blow it up. But are you playing that way, right? Are you establishing deep vision? Are you willing to force dives, right? I'm diving this guy 3 levels up under his tier 2, and I don't know where 3 people are on this team. And a lot of people may be like, well, that's crazy, right? No, because if I'm going to give a shutdown to somebody, I want to give it to this guy because he's useless. I don't want to give it to them. 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 This is the best person in the world I could give this shutdown to. And on top of this being the best person in the world I can give the shutdown to, and I can make that decision, by me playing up this aggressively, it pulls potentially 3 or 4 people to be like, hey, wait a second, we can kill Urgot and respond. And then guess what my team gets to do? Shove waves, pressure towers, right? We're creating space on the map by pushing our lead super hard. Now, nobody responds, it is what it is, but we're going to keep doing this, right? Once again, you can see me going top lane, going deep into the jungle. As soon as I have a priority lead here and I know that Nasus can't get out, what do? I transfer to a different part of the map to apply pressure, and because we know that we have a summoner advantage, I can win this fight even if Nasus TPs, because we have the tempo advantage on the 5v4 from the roam. And then once that happens, I can TP back top lane and potentially take another tower. Everything is preemptively thought out to be as aggressive as possible to push into the enemy base. If you are waiting for a fight to happen, you are going to be late to the fight because it's not happening on your terms. If you're waiting for the waves to come to you, then you're not getting a tempo advantage by clearing the waves and meeting the waves as fast as possible. Now, this is obviously extreme because I have a 70 CS lead and I'm 8-1, but the principle is the same. So now, as we keep moving through this game, right, I TP top, I save the tower, I start applying pressure because now they have to come and answer me. Oh, wow, nobody came and answered me. I get a tier 2 for free. Now, I'm going to go mid, and I'm going to set up Baron for my team, right? And it's the freest Baron in the world. It's the freest Baron in the world because we have tempo. And we just saw them bot. And now once we've got Baron, this game is pretty much over, okay? This game goes on for very shortly after, but you'll see here, this is a perfect example of what I was talking about, and this is the last thing that we're going to talk about. Why on earth, as Urgot, am I pushing up all the way to here without my team being in the same area? Well, it's very simple. My team has Baron. They're going to be able to meet either of these waves and buff them before they die under tower if they move. Now, I have no sums. I also am only, I'm not getting any help here. This is either going to be a 1v5 or a 1v4. And maybe my team does nothing with this. Maybe they do nothing with this, right? But if I group up with my team, they're not as ahead of me, and there's a chance that we end up in a 5v5 and I die and then more people die, right? So it could be like I go down and then 4 more people go down and they go, only 2 people go down on their team and they get a massive team fight won, right? But because both of the lanes are pushing in mid and bot, even if I die here, they can't do anything on the map. They can't take an objective. So I'm trading my life and my shutdown, 400 gold, for map pressure all over the place. Even if they kill me, that's 400 gold on one person. They're going to miss the mid wave and they're probably going to miss the bot wave, which that alone is probably going to be 200 gold worth of minions. Okay? So in the whole formula, they're really only getting 200 gold because 400 minus 200 is 200, right? So that's if everybody comes. Maybe everybody doesn't come. Okay, great. Victor went bot, so now it's a 1v4. So let's watch what happens. I'm not going to go dive because I don't want to get too deep, right? My goal is to waste time. And because I'm trying to waste time, I'm also not going to just run because that doesn't waste time, right? I need them to chase. I need them to pay attention to me. I need to use my Sterix. I need to be annoying. Oh, wow. Hey, wait a second. What just happened? What just happened? Oh, I can tell you what happened. We got Kai'Sa's Ghost. We got Soraka to come. We got Nasus to come. We got Nasus's ult. We got Kai'Sa's ult. And we got Soraka's ult. All for me. And guess what? Their Viego died mid, and we got a tier 2 tower, and Victor is only now resetting from bot lane. They're half health. They can't respond to this. So now we completely come up on top, right? And this is all a result of me being quote unquote brain dead and running it down, right? And yeah, they get kills back here. What a shame. But guess what? The waves aren't in a position for them to do anything. So they almost lose another tier 2 tower. And now I'm going to TP to back up this play because guess what I want to do? I want to apply pressure. Now, why do I want to apply pressure bot? Because drag is coming up. We have minions mid applying pressure. And I don't care about anything happening up here because Baron isn't up. And guess what? This guy is useless. He's a bot. He doesn't exist in the game. And that's nothing against this player in particular. It's just that he's in a terrible spot, right? It's 22 minutes. You only have 234 stacks. And you have 100 farm on Nasus. It's not looking great for the guy. Okay. Now this game ends here because we take this, then we take, you know, another inhibitor, then we get dragged. We just roll them. Okay. But the reason we went over this in this video in particular is to talk about 3 things. 1, getting a lead, okay, in your games from laning phase is great. And a lot of people may have this down. But the second part about it is expanding that lead to the map, right? The boss is probably one of the greatest players at this. It's why he proxies to give his entire team a tempo advantage. Okay, it's why he ints, quote unquote, all the way this deep so that he can move his team's pressure up the map towards the enemy nexus and base, right? Because other players on the enemy team are constantly running back and running back and running back. And right, every movement that's taking them back towards their base is inevitably pushing them away from the objective they need to get, which is the enemy nexus. Okay? So that is huge. That's expanding your lead. And the third thing that is really important is overall going to be hitting the gas. I'm just going to say gas because you cannot let people come back into the game. And the other part about this is when you have a lead, there's an inherent amount of risk because you have to individually as one person pressure the map so hard that they have to deal with you. And that inherently means there's risk. If you're crazy fed and everything you're doing is sitting behind your team, waiting for them to do something and waiting for the enemy to fall into your lap, you're not taking control of the game. You're not running over the game and you're not helping yourself become a better player. Because the higher you climb, the more people are going to translate these 3 things. And if this happens in the beginning, the game is pretty much over because they don't mess up here. Okay, your super high elo players, the reason they FF at 15 is because people actually do this. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're FFing 15 all the time in lower elo, really consider it because frankly, people are not that good at this. You know what I mean? You don't see people in gold moving around the map like I did in this game. So that's kind of the food for thought. That's the premise we're covering today and how to win more when you get a lead. All right. Thanks. I'm Strike, and I will see you guys in the next one.